Hello and greetings from Ayya Phalanyani in Germany, Ananda Vihara. I wish the very, very best for you, and I'm happy that you are here. And think we're just relaxing a moment and breathing. Until a few more people drop in. Welcome to those whom I haven't greeted yet. I'm happy for everybody here. From Ireland. So, great to have you listening again. Today, we're talking about moin moin. Yes, moin moin. Today we're talking about the practice for the noble disciples who are living the household life, who are you, most probably. I think maybe not all. I was under the impression that sometimes, once in a while, few ordained people drop in also, but in general, I think it's unordained people who are listening, and for those means for you, I have that sutta today. That is from the Samyutta Nikaya, the Sutta Samyutta, which is number 55, and there it is the Sutta 7, and the name is the people of Bamboo Gate. And this is really a wonderful little sutta that really gives a good impression on how to work, on what to do when people want to become a stream enterer, want to become a noble disciple. So I'm going to read first, and then we talk about what I just read. So this is the book. The chapter is 55, and the sutta number 7, called The People of Bamboo Gate. Thus have I heard, on one occasion, the Blessed One was walking on tour among the Kosalans, together with a great sangha of bhikkhus when he reached the Brahmin village of the Kosalans named Bamboo Gate. Then the Brahmin householders of Bamboo Gate heard. It is said, sirs, that the ascetic Gautama, the son of the Sakyans who went forth from a Sakyan family, has been walking on a tour among the Kosalans together with a great sangha of bhikkhus and has arrived at Bamboo Gate. Now, a good report concerning the Master has spread about thus. That Blessed One is an Arahant, perfectly enlightened, accomplished in true knowledge and conduct, fortunate, knower of the world, unsurpassed leader of persons to be tamed. Teacher of devas and humans, the enlightened one, the blessed one, having realized by his own direct knowledge this world with its devas, maras, and brahmas, this generation with its ascetics and brahmins, its devas and humans, he makes it known to others. He teaches the Dhamma that is good in the beginning, good in the middle, good in the end. With the right meaning and phrasing, he reveals a holy life that is perfectly complete and pure. It is good to see such arahants. Then, those Brahmin householders of Bamboo Gate approached the Blessed One. Having approached, some paid homage to the Blessed One and sat down on one side. Some greeted the Blessed One, and having exchanged greetings and cordial talk, sat down on one side. Some extended their joined hands in reverential salutation towards the Blessed One and sat down to one side. Some announced their name and clan to the Blessed One and sat down to one side. Some remained silent and sat down to one side. Sitting to one side, those Brahmin householders of Bamboo Gate said to the Blessed One, Master Gautama, we have such wishes, desires, and hopes as these. May we dwell in a home crowded with children. May we enjoy cassie and sandalwood. May we wear garlands, scents, and unguents. May we receive gold and silver. With the breakup of the body after death, may we be reborn in a good destination in a heavenly world. As we have such wishes, desires, and hopes, let the Master Gautama teach us the Dhamma in such a way that we might dwell in a home crowded with children. And with the breakup of the body after death, we might be reborn in a good destination in a heavenly world. I will teach you, householders, a Dhamma exposition applicable to oneself. Listen to that and attend closely. I will speak. Yes, sir, those Brahmin householders of Bamboo Gate replied. The Blessed One said this. What, householders, is the Dhamma exposition applicable to oneself? Here, householders, a noble disciple, reflects thus. I am one who wishes to live, who does not wish to die. I desire happiness and am averse to suffering. Since I am one who wishes to live and am averse to suffering, if someone were to take my life, that would not be pleasing to me. That would not be agreeable to me. Now, if I were to take the life of another, of one who wishes to live, who does not wish to die, who desires happiness and is averse to suffering, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to the other one either. What is displeasing and disagreeable to me, that is displeasing and disagreeable to the other one too. How can I inflict upon another what is displeasing and disagreeable to me? Having reflected thus, he himself abstains from the destruction of life, exhorts others to abstain from the destruction of life, and speaks in praise of the abstinence of the destruction of life. Thus, this bodily conduct of his is purified in the three respects. Again, householders, a noble disciple reflects thus: if someone were to take from me what I have not given, that is, to commit that what would not be pleasing and agreeable to me. Now, if I were to take from another what has not been given, that is, to commit theft, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to the other one either. What is displeasing and disagreeable to me, that is displeasing and disagreeable to the other one too. How can I inflict upon another what is displeasing and disagreeable to me? Having reflected thus, he himself abstains from taking what is not given, exhorts others to abstain from taking what is not given, and speaks in praise of abstinence from taking what is not given. Thus, this bodily conduct of his is purified in three respects. Again, householders, a noble disciple reflects thus: if someone were to commit adultery with my wife, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to me. Now, if I were to commit adultery with the wife of another, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to the other one. What is displeasing and disagreeable to me, that is disagreeable and displeasing to the other one too. How can I inflict upon another what is displeasing and disagreeable to me? Having reflected thus, he himself abstains from sexual misconduct, exhorts others to abstain from sexual misconduct, and speaks in praise of abstinence from sexual misconduct. Thus, this bodily conduct of his is purified in three respects. Again, householders, a noble disciple reflects thus: if someone were to damage my welfare with false speech, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to me. Now, if I were to damage the welfare of another with false speech, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to the other either. What is displeasing and disagreeable to me, that is displeasing and disagreeable to the other one too. How can I inflict upon another what is displeasing and disagreeable for me? Again, a noble disciple reflects thus: if someone were to divide me from my friends by divisive speech, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to me. Now, if I were to divide another from his friends by divisive speech, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to the other one either. Again, a noble disciple reflects thus: if someone were to address me with harsh speech, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to me. Now, if I were to address another one with harsh speech, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to the other one either. Again, a noble disciple reflects thus: if someone were to address me with frivolous speech and idle chatter, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to me. Now, if I were to address another one with frivolous speech and idle chatter, that would not be pleasing and agreeable to the other one either. What is displeasing and disagreeable to me is displeasing and disagreeable to the other one too. How can I inflict upon another what is displeasing and disagreeable to me? Having reflected thus, he himself abstains from false speech, exhorts others to abstain from false speech, and speaks in praise of abstinence of false speech. Thus, his verbal conduct is purified in 3 respects. He possesses confirmed confidence in the Buddha. He possesses confirmed confidence in the Dhamma and possesses confirmed confidence in the Sangha. He possesses the virtues dear to the noble ones: unbroken, unshaken, unwavering, leading to the concentration. When householders, the noble disciple possesses these 7 good qualities and these 4 desirable states. If he wishes, he could by himself declare of himself, I am one who is finished with hell, finished with the animal realm, finished with the domain of ghosts, finished with a plane of misery, the bare destinations, the netherworld. I'm a stream enterer, no longer bound to the netherworld, fixed in my destiny, with enlightenment as my destination. When this was said, the Brahmin householders of Bamboo Gate said, Magnificent, Master Gotama. We go for refuge to Master Gotama, to the Dhamma, and to the Bhikkhu Sangha. From today, let the Blessed One remember us as lay followers who have gone for refuge for life. So far, that this might, in the first place, does not sound like much more than a talk on Sila. But it is much more, really. It is really the way to stream entry. The Buddha here clearly says, when you do these things, when you keep the 5 precepts, and when you keep them for yourself, and when you help others to learn those precepts, and when you praise those precepts, then you as it is said here, you purify in yourself, your conduct in 3 respects. So the to go back to the start, the Buddha was asked by those householders of Bamboo Gate of a way to the Deva realms. And there were people, normal people speaking, who have not heard about the Buddha's teaching most probably a lot, because they only have heard some hearsay. They have heard of the good Buddha's good reputation, but it seems they haven't seen him so much yet. They do not know, because they introduce themselves. And here I think that's very beautiful how it is said, how they greet the Buddha in the various ways. And I think this is still valid for today. Nowadays, some people do not like to prostrate to Buddha statues, or do not like to bow down to monks or nuns or so. Or so if that is so, then you are in good company. Those people who had not yet full trust and full knowledge in the Buddha's teaching, they too did not bow to him. They stood there and said something, or they had their hands in Anjali, or they announced their clan's name. So be confident. That's totally okay. And you might learn to love bowing, as I did, and to learn that it's perfectly all right to do so. And you might not, which is also okay. But this is about people who have many wishes. You might not have those wishes. You might not want to have a house full of children. That's valid. But there are other wishes that you will have. Certainly, there are wishes that you have. And even if your particular wishes are not mentioned in this sutta is still for you. And the way to get over your wishes and to become one of those stream enters is still the same. So you are there with all those wishes of yours, whatever they may be. And then the Buddha starts with the precepts. He starts with not taking life. And the reflection, I think, is very, very beautiful, that we really can think, well, I don't want to die. I wouldn't want to be killed. And I can perfectly say, yes, I am a person who wants to live. I don't want to die. So I must assume that with other people, that's the same. That you wish to live and not to die. That the little ant that is walking here, or the little fly that is going to the orchids. But still, I should understand that little fly that kills the orchids, unfortunately, is just wishing to live and not wanting to die. And once I understand that, I may want to find ways to save both the orchid and the little fly by bringing the orchid out when the fly sits on it or something like that. Or I may find other ways. I don't know yet. I don't know. But there will be ways to deal with it without me having to harm any beings, because it is certainly so that I wish to live, and dying would be displeasing and disagreeable to me. If Earth now would say, well, these humans cause climate change, they are like parasites to me, I want to kill them, whoosh. And then, no, that would be disagreeable. So I shouldn't do that even to a little, I don't know how these flies are called, but the black widows, no, black flies, whoever, however. So I shouldn't want to kill any being, really any being whatsoever. There is a questions. There are to the dying, I think. There's if you follow this wholeheartedly and completely, then yes, that is said here. So now to the question of Fazi, the Ayya, I'm a new Buddhist and very sick. If I die, is that okay that I do not get cremated and have previous religious funeral and tradition? So, of course, that there is absolutely no need to be cremated in a certain way or to have certain rites and rules and so forth to be done. Your body will die, your 5 khandhas will fall apart, which is, sorry to hear, makes me feel like I want to hug you and say, woof. But yes, if you do really die, then don't worry about these details. If you, however you get whatever religious ceremonies will be held for you, that is of not much importance. So if you were a Christian and they perform the Christian rituals, or Jewish or Muslim or whatever, let them perform that, because these rituals and rites are for the people who remain in the world, not for the dead person. The dead person is on the way to another existence, maybe with good luck and a lot of diligence on the way to Nibbana, Paranibbana. But let's assume that a person is after death right on the way to the next destination, to a next birth, to another birth, where and however that may be. So don't worry about any religious funeral traditions and rites and rituals. So next thing, I love watching all the little critters. I can't hurt them, though I have been negligent in the past. Well, yes, negligence is borderline, let's say. You can't feed all the little critters, and you can't prevent everybody from dying. And actually, we shouldn't get that much involved in their life and death, because we might create karma by wanting too much for them to live and not to die. So things are going their natural course, and we have to let that course to happen. We shouldn't interfere too much. If we can save a being from dying, of course we do. If we can help a person to get better and live good, of course we shall do. But there was one retreat that I was doing in the forest in Thailand, and a very beautiful forest monastery. And I was in those nights that we do when we do not sleep. So the nights of Atitana Parami. So you try to meditate around the clock, never fully 24 hours, because you still go something to eat, but it's getting quite a bit of meditation. And you don't sleep, you really determined to not sleep. So I was there, and it was a night, I think in June or so, in the forest in Thailand. And I thought, well, I shall only light a small candle. And huts in Thailand never are like hermetically closed so that no one can come in. So always when there's a little light, there are critters, there are insects coming. So these insects were coming, and I was meditating. I didn't see it. The candle was a few meters away from me, and I was sitting there in meditation. And it was one of those nights when those, I don't know whether they exist in other countries also, but in Thailand there are hundreds and thousands of them in some nights, and they go to any light, and there they lose their wings, and their purpose is basically no other than dying. I haven't understood the purpose, but that is of no, well, that doesn't matter. But so when I opened my eyes from meditation, I saw these little beings circling the candle, and I saw one just burning their wings. And I thought, okay, that's not too bad, because it's losing it anyway in a few minutes. So I noticed one that was already caught in the wax, and I tried to really carefully get it out of the wax, and I imagined the pain that it would have. I was really like terrified, horrified, and thought I need to save that being. I need to save all beings. And I took it very, very carefully into my hand, and wanted to give paritas and blessings, and so that it wouldn't feel so much pain. And I opened the door. extinguished the candle first, thought of that, opened the door, and I will never forget what happened. I released the little being with my hand, and then I noticed there were frogs, big throats actually. And my little creature that I just saved, there was a frog that straight, but really next second, caught that little being. And around me were thousands of these beings, and the frogs just hopping or just sitting there like that. And I couldn't do anything. And I thought, well, these frogs want to live. They don't want to die. So what do? They eat. So what can I do? I can just go back to meditate. That's all I can do. So I went back to meditation after that, and was totally disillusioned about nature and how terrible it can feel, but how it is just suchness. It's just like that. And you can't really do much. So go back to meditate then. So that was for the not killing. So you should take that seriously. Really. And really also take, as Deborah is saying here in the chat, you should take, if you see death, if you come in contact with death in any way, take it as a teaching. We're all the same, all beings. We're born, we live, and we die. That's it. All of us. And understanding that we are all the same. And while we are alive, we want to live, can lead some people to nihilism, and other people just can have so much respect for every little being that there is, the seen or the unseen, the near or the far. So, yeah, and that is where we want to go, right? Because we want to go to streamentry. Next thing then would be to not take what is not given in the manner of theft. We don't want to do that. It's so annoying when you take things that are not given and you know for yourself. Also, I remember again a story from myself. When I was in Wat Lampung, for example, there were brooms, and I already told the story. We only had 10 minutes after the lunch break to do a little sweeping. That was all that was allowed to do. So everybody was running for the brooms after lunch, no? To get a little bit of anything different than meditation. So when the good brooms were gone, or you had placed a broom that you liked using because you was a resident, and then somebody else came, took it, and put it somewhere else and hid it. That was annoying. And that was taking something that is not given, not even with the idea to to steal really, but to use it for yourself. So how much more will that be annoying if you really steal something? So just don't take anything. It costs nothing to ask. Costs nothing. There's just a very, very beautiful chat message from Melissa, and thank you for letting me know. Igor, yes, even a scent can be stolen. So an odor, a good odor, a scent, not money, but yes, can be stolen. If you want it for yourself, if you don't want to share it with others. So going for the sharing, being open-hearted is preventing you from taking what is not given. And to get used to asking is also preventing you from taking what is not given. And we really should consider that I don't want to have taken away my things. So I shouldn't take away other people's things. I should learn responsibility with the things. Shall put them back where I found them if I take them without having asked. And if I want it for myself, then ask. It's quite simple, actually. So then, the next is the Abrahmacharya for those with 8 precepts, but here it's referring to Kamesu Michachara, so to the sexual misconduct. And just consider that somebody starts an affair with your partner, whether that be your wife or your husband or your same-sex partner or your whatever. That is really terrible to think of. So if you think how you would suffer if somebody did that, just to start an affair with your partner, then you might come to the conclusion that you don't want to do that to anybody else. I'm a little bit hesitant here to say more, because today in the modern times I see that there's a lot of changing of partners, and that is not so problematic. The problem with that is that you don't wait until somebody really is available, and that you bring so much harm and hurt to people when you put your eyes on on a person that is still with another partner. And that causes so much unnecessary hurt. And I wouldn't want anybody to go through that. So you shouldn't do yourself. And some are quite strict. I know teachers who say, well, even flirting, I don't know, should be watched and observed carefully, because flirting, of course, can lead to things. But be sure that before you start something, an affair with a partner of anybody else, with whoever that may be, that you get out of there. And if that person you want to have an affair with, who is still in a partnership, and you feel that person loves you too, wait until they are separate from their partner, so that they are ready for you. You are doing yourself a great favor when they don't jump, and when nobody jumps from one to the other. But that is clearly well organized, let's put it that way. So then there are the things about the speech. I have to talk faster. So the speech, I think this is the most difficult. There's question about sexual misconduct. Can you tell in what way self-pleasure coming from own body sensation is considered sexual misconduct? Please, Venerable. Do I understand that correctly, that might refer to masturbation and such things? Self-pleasure sounds as if there is nothing said about for monks and nuns, but especially for monks, that is a no-go. Nope, not to do, not to touch yourself. The bhikkhunis actually do not have such a particular strict rule about it as the bhikkhus have, but I would consider it still a no-go, even for a bhikkhuni, to do things like masturbation. And for lay people, there's nothing in the rules said about it. And I would think, if that helps, it's a sensual pleasure, and we shall overcome sensual pleasures, but we do have other sensual pleasures as well. So where to start? Maybe on a way to overcome sensual pleasures, this is maybe at the beginning one to start with, but and then maybe later other sensual pleasures. So as I said, for me as bhikkhuni, this is a total no-go. But I still enjoy a nice cup of tea, and I have a sensual pleasure with that. That's more subtle, of course, but I still have to work on that to overcome all sensual pleasure, no? But so everywhere where we can, but there's no strict that you as lay people shouldn't do things like that. And I think there might be situations where it can be helpful for a young person to just masturbate rather than explode or rape another or so. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this because I'm a nun, and for me, I barely think of these things. But next, so much suffering that we bring onto ourselves. If we can use noble wisdom, mindfulness, and awareness in everything we do, what a wonderful world this would be. Yes, well, of course, yes, but the thing is, we don't. You're right, Gita, and I appreciate very much that you say that, but if we had the noble wisdom and the mindfulness and the awareness, we wouldn't break any of the 5 or any of the 10, 8, 10, 220, 7 or 311 rules that we have. But it's a work in progress. So do not suffer that the world is not as you wish to have it, because that also it's just as it is. Suchness. Ta-ta! That's how it is. Can't change that. So, but there was more that I wanted to explain. So for me, back to the speech, the right speech is the most important and the most difficult, actually. To guard the speech is so difficult because we have all these thoughts coming up, and many of these thoughts are just expressing themselves, and they are plain useless, plain stupid, plain false, and cause unnecessary harm if we, for example, say something untrue. And we put in danger by that the welfare of another person. So when I was not ordained yet, I was a comedian, and I harmed a lot with words. Although I tried not to harm, but I was making fun, and I had a quick tongue, and I enjoyed it to speak about other people, not in my comedy, not that. I tried to make fun about myself or tried not to harm others, but with friends, I was talking about other people and I was judging them. And slander, I think that is called. So I found that funny. I enjoyed it. And many people do. And they do not know what harm comes from that. I learned it when I was a bhikkhuni then, when I was a nun, I had to feel the full load of other people talking bad about me. Boom! And that can really knock you down. So understand that when you speak bad, either you lie or you slander or you yell, you use harsh words, that at one point will always come back to you. Maybe later, not straight away. So be extra careful what you say. Don't ever think what you say about other people or to other people will go unnoticed by karma. This will have a karmic imprint. So whenever you say something untrue, yeah, whenever you say a word of slander, bad, talking bad about other people, that is so harmful. And it is most probably more harmful to you than it is to others. So guard your thoughts and guard your mouth. Before you speak, consider, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it beneficial? Is it the right time? And is it pleasing to the ear? And can the other take it? Then speak. And most times, it's most probably good to just friendly remain silent. That's the best way of speech. The speech about the speech without words, just with a heart, where you share with the others the contents of your heart, whether that is good or bad. I mean, of course, it's beautiful when you share your loving kindness or your compassion. But if there's upset or anger, of course, you also, that will also show, but you don't need to express it in words. Okay. We're not coming to an end with this sutta today. But I want to comment on that. Just move. Okay, so here's the question. Our place is experiencing a six-legged little critter problem of mammoth proportions. It is out of hand. Just move, as another monastic recommended, is not an option. Six-legged. What beings are six-legged and of mammoth proportions? What are these? Buddharuchi, what critters are they? Because maybe on that would depend a little bit what I would say. Insects. Mm-hmm. Well, for first, day before yesterday, we were driving car, and when I was driving a car when I was young, or especially when we were driving car with family, um, mm, then the windscreen would be full of dead insects. Now we wouldn't have. We had one on a 4 hours drive. We had one insect on the window screen. So we do have an insect problem in this world. There are too little. So just imagine the mm, there would be no more. So the question is to get them out of where you are. And if you don't want to kill them, this is a lot of work, but can be done. You don't need to move out. You prepare yourselves. I mean, I don't know where you live, right? And I don't know if you, for example, have spaces where you sit. If this is a meditation center, you could start, or anyway, you can start with little places, from the center of the house. With there are things that these critters do not like cinnamon, or really baby powder, smelly things that we like actually as humans. So you have your meditation. That's how I did it in Thailand. You have a place where your meditation place is, and you put, when you have cinnamon, you put cinnamon around you. If you have baby powder, you put baby powder. If you have insect repellent, that with lemongrass or so, you spray that around. So that is a barrier. And next day, you can extend that circle. And I don't know whether that would work with cockroaches, for example, but that worked in Thailand with all sorts of insects, that you really put your own smell from your small circle and extend it, and the critters move away. They move away from the smell of your perfumes and things, and carefully sweeping and things like that, bringing them out whenever you find them. That is what worked for me in Thailand. But really, sure, you can email me. Yeah, sure, because we're time up. Didn't even finish our sutta for today. But I was thinking that to address this would mm, be interesting. So, do, do you know my email address? Maybe. I'm just and that would be then with gmail.com. You know, the name at gmail.com. Okay. Dear folks, that's it for today. See you next Wednesday. I wish all the very best for you and peace within and all around you. Bye.